go ahead.
You may begin.
Thank you for everyone for tuning in this afternoon for our series about committees, where great ideas are born, and certainly born because we have great leaders too who can steer the ship and keep us going. So, we have invited 200 of our newest members. So are there any new members on the call today? Can you raise your hand if you are? There's a few names we don't recognize. Does anybody, can you raise your hand? You go down to the reactions button. I guess maybe it's on this one. Let's see what it is. I think it's meeting info. It's meeting info. Not that. It's different on this one. Well, I don't see it down there. But just raise your hand. Like just raise your hand if you're new. Is anybody raising their hand?
Yes, Murphy Wellman. Hi, Murphy.
Hi, Julia.
Okay, so where's Murphy from? Where are you from?
Iredell County.
Iredell. Okay. And so are you one of our new members?
No, I'm just the acting vice president. Lizzie Barber is our president.
Okay. So you're just trying to tune in to see what these committees do so you can get more engaged.
Yes.
We hope that more people will listen to this later and that they will decide to get engaged too, and they will contact our various chairs. So, next. So according to our governing documents, you'll see these 8 committees listed, and the chairs of these committees are appointed by the president with the approval of the executive board. There is some talk out there that some people don't like to have committees as members of the board because they're not elected, but they're appointed. And then the membership committee has a chair, like we're going to meet today. All these committees have chairs, but they also, the region director in each region appoints one person to this committee. So when Nell Burwell, as chair of membership, comes up as the chair, she has 10 other people that should be helping her. But the whole thing is, in some of these committees, there's not a lot of participation from the people on the committee. But some have some really devoted people that show up all the time and are really engaged. So that's what we're looking for, some people that do want to be engaged. And we're also, I'm open. If somebody wants to serve, you just kind of let me know. Margarita Brown, that's how she got on the membership committee. She said she wanted to be on that committee. So, I put out feelers every now and then, to try to let people know that they can volunteer. So that's really important. There are also a couple of the committees, the policy committee and the Constitution and bylaw committee is at the end. And those people are appointed by the president. And I basically appoint the chair and then kind of let the chair kind of in communication with others decide who will serve on those 2 committees, because you have to have a certain level of expertise. I also appoint within kind of an ad hoc committee. We have had a couple in the past couple of years. One, we had a grant committee that gave $500 in grants to locals. So we had an ad hoc that I set up. We went through the process, and then when we're finished, we dissolved the committee. This year, we had another ad hoc committee that related to a $1,000 grant per region. And so we're still in the process of all that. But definitely we have people from just about every region in the state. Now, some of these committees have certain needs, and I hope that maybe as you're going through, some of the chairs of the committees might indicate what type of people maybe they're looking for. Maybe they're looking for somebody with a particular skill, writing skill, editing, whatever it is that might be beneficial for your particular group. So let's move on and let's meet. First of all, we have Lena, our vice president, Lena Murrill-Chapman. So she is in charge of the strategic planning committee. So Lena?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everyone. It is absolutely great to see you. I'm just going to take a second because I know there's a lot of good things getting ready to happen. But the committees, the standing committees and the committees of NCRSP, as under the policies of our association as well as NEA and NCAE, that we have a plan in place. So we are grateful today because what you're going to see are how those plans were implemented at the beginning of each year, during the summer months mainly, that we work on the strategic plan, and the board, the executive board, as well as the admin council, come up with the overall goals for the association. And then these standing committees come up with the strategies and objectives that help us meet those goals. So today you will get an opportunity to listen and to hear about some of the goals that they have implemented and how they have met the goals of the state. So I want to say, first of all, to each committee chair who worked so hard and has done an outstanding job. So I'm excited about seeing. You'll see some of the state goals that we sort of set up at the beginning of the year that was approved by the board as well as the admin council. And so we're working on that this summer, getting ready to set new goals and objectives. Some will stay the same. But it's up to the committee chairs, along with others, to make sure that these goals are in place and what plans they have. And all of that together makes up our strategic plan. So we are looking forward to that. And again, we cannot thank the committee members and the committee chairs enough.
Okay, so the first committee we're going to start with is membership. We have our two chairs, Nell Burwell and Margarita Brown. Take it away.
Good afternoon. I hope everybody's doing well. As you know, with membership, our theme is moving on up. And that's what we plan to do this year with which we will continue from the previous year. As you know, membership is the blood life of any organization. If you don't have membership, you don't have an organization with members. So this is one of the most important. All of them are important, but we have to connect and we have to communicate in order to, with our members. As you see, we recruit, we retain members, we try to build relationships, communicate. We talk about the membership benefits, and you have to rejuvenate your members. Although you have members, you have to do activities in order to engage them. So right now we're going to lift off for 2025, and we will begin with our co-chair, Marita, who's going to give you the objectives, the purposes, and the responsibilities of NCRSP Membership Committee. Marita, you are, okay. Now he was, okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today in this very important information that we're going to share with you. The objectives are very important for any membership. We need to recruit new members. We need to state our purpose and reasons and benefits. We need to communicate with the region membership chairs as teamwork. We need to allocate funds by implementing grants, projects, workshops, and events to recruit, retain, and rejuvenate members. We also publicize NCRSP through social media, print media, sponsored programs, and events, and within the school systems. I'm sure that many of you have seen our information out there. We provide activities to increase leadership roles, and which is very important so we can grow. We celebrate birthdays, recognize members for their achievements. We conduct SWOT analysis to obtain the strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities and threats of the local units. So we stay in contact to find out what is going on with our units. We create surveys for members and potential members to acquire feedback of programs, events, projects, and operations of local units. It is important to get feedback so we know what worked well and what we need to work on. Our purposes are NCRSP Membership Committee purposes, develop strategies to promote membership growth in NCRSP, and we work together in all committees to make this sustainable. Implement a membership strategic plan to assist local units to recruit and retain membership in CRSP, and Responsibilities are we assist with membership efforts and encourage local units to set yearly goals and to reach them. It's very important to have those goals, as was stated earlier, and to move forward. Serve as resource contacts to provide updated information with membership benefits, membership applications, membership grants, and workshops. So there's a position for everyone.
Thank you, Margarita. And as you stated there, this committee, we meet once a month. And we also have from each of the regions, as our President Lena has stated, we have a person from each region membership share, region membership share that's a part of our committee. That person, those region membership shares are to share the information that we discussed in the NCRSP committee meeting with the local unit membership shares. So that's how we communicate and connect. One thing that we had as a one of our goals this year, and I'm thankful for our administrative council and also the executive board, we have finished our new member package. And as I'm showing here, I'm showing you the flyer that we created, and our theme is stay connected. And in this, with the flyer, we have the welcome from our president. We have information about us. We have our purpose, our contact information. And as we stated, we also have a QR code that they will be able to connect to the website, our web page. And we're in the process. That's the only thing that we have to do now is to do that, because we were trying to make sure that everything was accurate and we had everything in line. The members will receive, the new members in their package, they will receive a magnet with the same thing, stay connected, has a QR code, and that they can put on their refrigerator or anywhere so that they can stay in contact with us. So we have done that, and also in the with the mailing of these packages to the new members, and as you state, we have about 200 now, and the state office is in the process of getting that information together, and we plan to mail them this month as soon as possible. So those are some of the things that we could create it for our new member packages. And also we will have the NEA benefits pamphlet. There's a copy of that that will be also included in the package, along with the other information that I just discussed. And so we are going to send this out as I stated. Our future plans is that we want to continue to recognize our new members, to let them know that we welcome them to our organization, and this member package will do that. We also plan to have Zoom workshops by regions to explain and to share information with our local membership chairs, because somewhere or another, if we don't connect and with them, the information that we have in our committee meetings is not going anywhere. So it is very important. So we want to conduct some Zoom meetings with the regions, with the presidents, region director, anyone that wants to be a part of it, to learn more about what we are doing and how we can share our information, build relationships, and how to conduct local unit meetings. Since I've been membership chair, I've noticed that a lot of local units are not even meeting. Even after COVID, some of them are still not meeting, and they don't know what do they supposed to do in a local unit meeting. So we want to share information about that, a typical meeting. Another thing that we plan to do in the future is to still contact our NCRSP membership shares information local, so that we can communicate and contact them. We want to also to make sure they do surveys. We want to do surveys so that we can know, as Marita stated a few minutes ago, to know what their weakness, strengths, how can we help them, assist them in any way. And we want to continue to build relationships with NCAE, because we're all part of under the same umbrella, so that once our NCAE members retire, that they can come on and join NCRSP to make that connection. And we're working on our 25-26 strategic plan, as our Vice President Lena has just stated. And also we have reactivated some local units, and we're proud to announce that. And we have a great increase in membership. And so we want to also evaluate, as I stated, our progress. And so we hope that if you're interested and you're a people person, you like to contact people, you like to meet people and talk to them, you can meet people anywhere you go, grocery store, church, organization, wherever you are. And I do that myself. I carry membership application forms and I talk to them if they're retirees. For the school system, could be non-certified or certified. I'm ready for you. So as it stated, lift off. We are moving on up. Thank you and have a great day.
Yes, this committee has been wonderful for helping to create materials that we can use, kind of our marketing materials. So now they're going to go into the training aspect. So we're expecting great things from the membership committee. But now we have the legislative committee. Colleen was down at the General Assembly today. So take it off, Colleen. She's one of our volunteer lobbyists.
Two volunteer lobbyists. The other one is Linda. So we represent y'all in our group when we go down to Raleigh. So our membership legislative committee is made up of one or two region legislative chairs. And it just depends on what they want to do in their region, whether they have one or two. We meet regularly based on any needs that come up. If people want us to push issues, we get together and talk about those issues. If NEA retired tells us they want us to work on something, we get together and talk about that. We decide how we're going to do that. And then, of course, from time to time, Linda and I, if we go down to Raleigh, we will get back together with the region legislative chairs and tell them what's happening. And then they will send out information to you folks if it's needed. We try to figure out the best ways to share information with you and with the executive board in each of our regions. And that picture down the bottom, you'll see that's when Lena and I went down, I think in January, or the beginning of February, and Paula Harrison, who's one of region executive directors from Region 4, she came with us. So here's a way you can volunteer, folks. If you say, hey, I don't mind going down with you to help pass out materials, we'll be glad to have you. We move along at a pretty rapid pace. We go to the offices, we give something to the legislative assistant, we say this is from region legislative chairs, and we move along and pass out something. That way they actually get something printed from us instead of that person in the office having to print it out for them. So this year, what we usually focus on is our legislative agenda. And you may recall in the fall, this past year, your region legislative chair shared some specific goals with you, some things we recommended, and to see what you would like to recommend in our legislative agenda, because it lasts more than one a year. We also monitor what's happening in state and national legislation and things that will affect retirement, our state health plan, as well as our incoming retirees, so our active employees. We do give updates, and hopefully you're getting one this week from your region legislative chairs with what's happening lately in the budget, which has not yet passed, but it has gone through the House, and Senate's done theirs, House has done theirs, and then there's going to be a conference committee who'll be working on those things together. We do have a campaign for the Great Public Schools Fund this year. We did not do that on a statewide basis as we usually do because we were focusing on other things and wanted a chance to get ourselves together and work on those things. We'll probably resume that this coming year since elections are coming up. And we use something called our legislative contact team members. That's something else you can do as a volunteer. We have at least one, if we can, member who is a direct contact with the legislator in their area or one with whom they have a connection. Today, Lynn and I met with one who's not in our regions, but I've got a connection with him. So we met with him this afternoon to talk about some of our issues. So you will contact, if you don't have a connection, if you just want to get on there and be the contact person, it's very helpful because you can pass on specific information and keep us informed when you get some feedback. So what you can do is be an LCT, a region legislative contact team member. And by that, we would send information to you and say, here's what our emphasis is right now. Please contact your legislators. And lots of times our LCTs say, I send it, but I don't ever get a response. And we say, don't worry about that. We know we sent our information, so hopefully they're reading it. You also could serve as a local legislative chair. So in that case, if you were local legislative chair, your region chair might say, here's information to pass out. Would you like to pass it out to the members or email it to the members, or would you like for me to do that? And they'll say, here's a little synopsis of things that are going on. And you can also be a region legislative chair, helping out in your region if you'd like to do that. Most of the time we do that through email. And when we have region meetings, there'll be a presentation at your region meetings. We do ask that you are able to do a group email if you're a region legislative chairs, because lots of times the things we do comes up at last minute, and we hate that that happens, but lots of times the legislators don't know what's going to happen till the last minute. So we have to get out word quickly about that. And you could be a great public schools fund captain. In that case, what you do is help contact people in your area and encourage them to support the Great Public Schools Fund. I don't think we have any brand new people on here, but you might recall that's what we used to call PAC, and some people still call it PAC, the Political Action Committee. So now it's the Great Public Schools Fund. And by captain, you just be contacting folks and letting them know what's going on, and encouraging them to contribute.
Yeah, they were also very successful and had raised over $60,000 in 3 years. So we really have some funds that we could actually share with candidates, and some we gave to NCAE to buy Apple cards and for other campaign materials. Now,
So let me know if you've got other questions later. I'll be glad to talk with you about other things.
And we'll have a question period at the end too, so we hope that we'll have some questions then. Now, this next one is Joyce, and people that are recognitions chairs tend to only serve like one year. They do a really good job, they work really hard, and they move on. So Joyce was the chair this last year, so we're looking for a replacement. So if you know of anybody, if you're on this call and you want to do this, or if you have a friend that will work with you on it, let me know. If you know somebody else, like, send their name to us and tell us why they would be good. But we need somebody to replace Joyce so we can have a great recognition banquet at the end of the convention. So Joyce, take it away and sell them on signing up.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is my privilege and pleasure this afternoon to share information concerning our recognition community. But first of all, let me say I made the decision to not serve as a chairperson for our next year, because y'all, being a retiree for me, I'm busier than I was when I was working. I'm involved in about 6 organizations in maybe not the leadership, maybe not the leadership, but in some form or fashion that I have to meet or have to provide information. And I'm gonna be frank with you, I'm just spread very thin. But I enjoyed working this past year with the recognition committee. I think that we have brought some new and different things to this particular committee, but also we definitely stuck to the strategies of recognizing and encourage members and units to create programs and practices that would allow us to recognize them. So we want every unit to showcase their achievement, because we know there are some units out there that are working very hard, doing things month by month for our public schools, for our teachers, for the community. So we want to make sure that you are recognized for that. And if you are new, you need to know that there are 11 different categories. There are 11 different ways that you can win an award. And if you see on this flyer in front of you, we have the brag board. We also, and look, that's kind of a little, so I'm looking at my paper. We have the Betty Huffman Binder Award. That's where you pick 6 of your most attractive and eye-catching slides and present them. The Presidential Award, and then there are a couple of these awards that are awarded by the president, by the membership committee, but for the most part, these awards you can newsletter. That's very important. These are the awards, and what we do is we send out information really just as soon as almost after we finish with our convention. Send out information to the units to let you know this is where we're starting. It usually begins, like I said, into 25 into 26, because the deadline for submitting your awards is February. Well, it has been February, the first day of February, so it would be first day of February in 2026. And so like I said, now is the time to talk to your members, let them know about the categories, because we know you all out there working. We know a lot of this stuff you're doing. So what we want you to do is make sure that you submit it, and so that you can be recognized for all your efforts, and that there might be something that in your submission that other units can share, so that they can learn from that. Like I said, we want to make sure that the achievements are publicized. We publicize it on our website, on our Facebook page, in our news articles and publications. And we once again encourage new ideas that would further advance NCRSP's mission. And also, we were told that at the last convention that it was interesting. Of course, there were some things that we probably could have done a little better, but we are open for anybody who wants to step in and step up. And I assure you that the leadership team is very open for new ideas. So we want somebody that could think that they could add to and make this event even better. And I will say that I will definitely be willing to remain on this committee just as a member, and anybody that needs any assistance or any insight, I would be happy to provide that. And then before I finish with my presentation, just let me say, I don't know how I could have done as much as we did if it hadn't been for our secretary, Ms. Julia Thorn. Julia and I privately thanked her, and I'm publicly thanking her for all her help, all of her insight. She is like the Energizer Bunny. She keeps going and going and going, and I appreciate her going and going with me. So I thank you. If anybody has any questions, I'd be certainly glad to answer them.
Okay, we'll kind of hold those maybe for the end. But yes, this is very important. And of course, Julia did so much, but we can get help with the certificates, get the staff to do some of that. And if people kind of take different portions, like somebody could do the program for the banquet. So
Right.
somebody does that, and somebody's trying to help with the certificates, the staff could print them out, once they get finalized. So there's lots of ways that we can kind of break it down. And we really want the whole committee, and maybe we need to recruit more members to the actual recognition committee. But it's not a 1 or 2 person show. We've got to have a lot of people on deck to make it happen. And of course,
That's correct.
got these flip book things that they flip before you can hardly read them. All these different examples of poster boards, brag boards, and everything that everybody had, and she made these little fields for everybody too. So Julia, we certainly appreciate all your talent. We just wish we all had that talent. So, and she always says, "Well, you can do it." I said, "I don't think so. Not everything." So that's one committee that's really important, and we definitely need to have a team step up. So the next committee is communications, and Ginger Sherman is the chair. She's also the editor of the Panorama. So that takes up a lot of her time and her responsibility. So take it away, Ginger.
Hey, hello, everybody. I'm not sure that you can hear me. I have my headset on because I'm not at home, and I wanted to be sure that I could hear what was going on. The Communications Committee is a very important, and one of the things that we stress is that you have skills in communications and the social media and that sort of thing. And so since I left home today and I'm visiting my sister, what did I do? But I came off without my cord from my computer. So I do hope that my battery will stay long enough for me to get through my presentation. The committee tasks that we have for the Panorama or for our major product is for the panorama, and we produce it, we publish it twice a year. We had one in the spring, and we're getting ready to start getting the fall issue organized. The NCRSP depends on regional and local committees to submit articles for the panorama. I am very strong on the chain of command, so I feel like that every step we have, our state, our regions, our locals, everybody needs to be involved. NCRSP depends on the newsletter to inform members about some important dates. We always put a calendar with the important dates for state business and elections in each one of the panoramas that's published. Panorama also informs members about political and legislative issues. We had the two of our state officers who were featured in the last panorama. Okay, go to the next one, Julia. The next slide. Communications means informing members and getting informed by
Yes,
members.
Ginger, we're not
Yes.
seeing the slides.
Oh, you're not.
I can see it.
Okay.
I
And
see
other-
the slides.
Julia is doing that for me, so I'm not controlling that part.
Is there anyone that cannot see the slides other than Taylor? I don't know why. Okay,
I don't either.
because it's right here. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you for letting us know that, Tammy.
Yeah.
Cheap communications online, but respect the hard copy. I'm not sure exactly what that one is. That's not one of my ideas, but I'm not sure the meaning of that. Use every means of connectivity available. We call, we email, we visit in person at meetings. So any way you can get information is important. Keep both our low-tech and high-tech members informed and engaged. Yesterday, Colleen and Sandra and I met with some members of the Avery County group, and none of them are email savvy. So they're very much dependent on snail mail and telephone calls. Meet all the challenges ahead, get our members' voice heard far and wide. And I do get good feedback on the people who get our panorama and our messages. Okay, you have calendar events in there. We have information about how to contact NCRSP. We have information about our webmaster. So there are lots of ways that you can be informed, not just with the panorama.
And one thing too about the Facebook, this is one of those cheap, easy ways of communicating. If everyone online right now would please log into Facebook and follow it, we've got all of our videos on it and so many wonderful handouts that the people here have written. And also we have our own YouTube channel of our own videos and all kinds of excitement like that. So please go ahead and subscribe to your own NCRSP web channel. Thank you.
And may I ask, while you're talking about that, Julia, is our Facebook page public, or is it one that only members can join?
It is public, but
Okay.
last night I also made a brand new one, which the communication committee could figure out how you want to use. Members only. If you want it, you could have it. And then we'll have just our own people who are allowed to look at it. It'll be exciting.
Okay, I was just wondering about that. Okay, one other thing. The next slide, please. Oh. Oh, that was the end. Okay, here we go. We've already done that one.
Do
Yeah.
what anymore?
Okay. All right. I appreciate it, Julia, and I appreciate all of your help. If you have, there are communications chairs for every single region, and they are in contact with all of their local communications chairs in their regions. So there's always someone that you can contact with stories, with pictures, all the things we need for the panorama. And let me say again, they have to be typed. Articles have to be typed to send to me, and pictures need to be separate in a separate email. So just follow the rules. There are lots of those, but they're wonderful to follow, and they make a wonderful newspaper.
And I think the rules are on page 3 of the panorama.
The panorama. And they're
Okay.
also on their NCRSP website.
That's right. So you can look on the communication page. This calendar of events is so great. If any of the committees are holding meetings, you need to let Kathy Palmer know. She's the representative for Region 3 on the communications committee, but that's her thing. You tell her when you're having your meeting, and that's where it will be. If you're looking to find like what's going on, you can just look there. And if they told her, it will be there. And then all of our videos from these different training sessions from last year and this year are going up, and a lot of people are accessing on our YouTube channel. So it's really great that Julia's been able to do that, because the videos get kind of long. All right, so let's go on.
Before you move on, Matt, I'm a little lazy. So if I were to type up an article for our unit, you don't want me to attach the pictures? You want me to send the pictures separately?
If you send an email, you can send it in the same email.
I just can make an
realized I
attachment.
said that. Just have them separate.
Okay. All right.
And I think be sure that in the name of the picture, you kind of tell them what this is, because if it gets separated from the article, we need to be able to find it.
So you're saying I can't do attachments?
Well, you just shouldn't put picture number 3, because we're not going to know what picture number 3 is. If it gets separated from the article after she saves it, then we're going to have picture number 3. We're not going to know where it goes. And so if you could put,
you'd have 2 attachments, in other words.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay, and then also that email that it goes to, Ginger, what's the email for everything? Although this
email is panoramancrsp@gmail.com, and send everything for the panorama, everything to that email address, please.
And that's also on page 3. So we'll send more information out about this, plus it's on the website. It's on the website. So we appreciate any kind of article. There's been several news stories recently, just in the past couple of days. So write those up and send them in. We're always looking for news. Okay, the next committee is the Community Service Committee. This is where you keep track of all your community service hours. I saw Wynette. I'm not sure if Affie's on or not. Wynette,
she is.
Oh, she is. Okay. So both of you just unmute and go ahead. But maybe we need to go back to that slide. Can you point out? Can you point out on that slide? You see, Wynette's handling the west, Affie's taking care of the east. So
Yes.
which one you have? Okay.
Next. Okay, I can go ahead and start. So the purpose of the Community Service Committee and the community service arm of NCRSP is to help members keep track of their volunteerism and their hours in the community, and also to identify areas of need in our communities where volunteers are needed. So not that we have all the time in the world, but we do have a little bit more time that we can reach out and help someone. So we're here to energize the local units by encouraging members to volunteer in schools and communities. And again, to address a need. And as we know, there are several needs. You could volunteer for free, you know, all day, probably 24 hours a day. There's homeless shelters, there's schools, there's so many needs in all of our communities, and just identify ones to help with and ones to get involved with. Next. So some of the responsibilities of people on the community service committee. So each local has a community service chairperson, and then one for the region, and then there's 2 of us for the state. So again, we're encouraging people to identify critical needs in the schools, especially since most of us are, you know, worked in the schools. So how we can help children and what we can do about that. Sorry, I'm at my dad's house. But another thing would be for them to develop coalitions and other organizations in their communities and gather ideas for projects that are done and something, and then we will create a list that we can distribute across the state. And so again, if you can have a service project for your local, or just again, places and already, you know, established organizations that you volunteer in, that's great also. So again, the community service person for each local and for the state collects the forms of the members just once a year, and then collates all that information and all of the community service and volunteer hours and gets that turned into the state. Also, we do provide certificates for the top volunteers and award them for just doing such a great effort and for helping everyone. Next. Affie, did you want to do this one?
Okay, yes. The local community chair service responsibilities plan activities in which members may participate safely, connect with a nonprofit organization that provides needs items to children in public school, collect clothing items and supplies to donate to organizations and public schools in the community, document hours, that's important, document hours, and suggest ways for members to track hours. Submit hours to the community service chair on a monthly or pre-scheduled basis, and commit to submitting volunteer hours during 25-26.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, we need to start July 1? No, from January to now.
Okay.
Could you go back to this? I saw it online. Back to the.
Go back to the chart.
Yeah, the chart. I saw this, and it is, they have the date when you started, when you end, categories, education, number of education hours. And you can have it, I don't understand the minutes, and then other. Is this a suggestion?
Yeah, this is a suggestion. This might be something we would take into consideration. Tama had suggested this, and Tama's on the call, and she came up with this as a way to keep up with her hours, because we do have some people that turn in so many hours that it almost would be impossible because they have, you know, part of full-time jobs. So sometimes it helps if you can actually put it down in a form. So Tama, tell how this works for you.
Okay, if I could share the screen, please, because it's actually an Excel file.
Okay, so
I just sent a request to share my screen.
yeah, Julia has it. Julia, can you do that?
No, go ahead, Tama.
Okay. And it still says someone else is okay.
Oh, no.
Okay. Now, can everyone see this Excel file?
It just popped up.
Yes.
Okay. And what happens is, because this will tabulate everything for you. For instance, today's date, this is June
Third.
Third. And then this webinar started at, or the leadership series started at 3 o'clock. Put in the time that you start, will end at around 4. And then the category that this would go into would be, well, actually, I would say that this is NCRSP. So I would know what I'm connecting the information. And it would be education. And then it would be, this would be 1 hour and 0 minutes. And then, for instance, and then later on, if I say had another meeting, well, I'll say if I'm secretary of a branch of the NAACP. And so let's say that meeting started at 7 o'clock. And then I would put down the end time, say maybe 8:30. Then here I would put NAACP. And then this would go in the category of other. And that would be 1 hour, put it there, then move over 30 minutes. And then because it is an Excel file, let me put something else in here. Let's say tomorrow, June, because this way it will add them together and say tomorrow, maybe 10 o'clock, have a Wake RSP meeting. Starts at 10, we end at 12. And then I would put here, Wake RSP. And then that would go into education, and that would be 2 hours. And then at the end, when I finish, I can go here, highlight that, and then I would do my sum. And see, that automatically tabulates it for me, so that I don't have to go back and figure out, okay, well, I did this, and how do I just add it all together? And then do this on a monthly basis, however long you would need to, or for whatever activities, and just put in the number of hours, well, whatever time it started, then how long it was, and then the minutes, and that would be it. Any questions?
But you would have to know, you would have to have Excel on your computer.
Yeah.
Yes, you would have to have Excel. Or even
Okay.
Google, if you have a Gmail account, you can use Google, what is it? Not Google Forms, but it's one of them that is very similar to this, that you could do the same thing.
And this will go to every individual?
No.
This the link or the attachment can go out to everyone, and then however they choose to use it. But I just found that for me, I needed to find something that at the end that I was not just using a calculator and figuring out everything. And this way, whenever I start, then I can put that start time, the end time, determine what the activity was, and making sure that I had had a role in it. I was a secretary, or I was a committee chair, not just attending the meeting just to attend it. And then have a column for the hours and a column for the minutes.
So would we, if we're spending time with NCRSP or your local organization, that would be education? I guess I was thinking when it was education, you're doing something in a school.
Me too. Yes, that's what I was thinking. When education would be when you're involved in the school system. So that's a great way. Thank you for keeping up with your time. So however you need to keep up with your time, at the end of the year, you turn it in by month. And so it is month by month. So if you need to, however you want to keep up with it. And then again, the ones who are the top winners in each region, we do check just to be sure, that their reporting is accurate and that they are volunteering the hours that they have put down. So again, some people have literally hundreds of hours because that's what they do. They're very helpful in their communities. They help in their church, like the other lady, I'm sorry, who does that. When you're retired, you're asked to do about 5 or 6 different things at a high level. So you can be busy all day, every day, if as my husband says, you have to learn how to say no sometimes. So however you need to keep up with your hours, whatever helps you. And then again, at the end of the year, when you get to the form, you will turn it in on a month by month, reported for month by month basis. Thank you.
May I?
We've got.
I'm the volunteer person for my unit for the volunteers. And when we were getting ready to submit our candidate's name, they also wanted to know who was in charge of the activity, and as well as the address. Should we include that category on this? Because a lot of times our members are keeping up with hours, where, when, how long, and they don't even know that they also supposed to keep up with who was in charge.
Yeah.
I have participated with the breast cancer group here in Iredell County. I was participating in a program, and I had to remember who invited me, who was the president of the group. And just so happened, I did know the person, but there is a place when you get ready to turn that in, unless we're going to get rid of that, where they want the person who's in charge, in case you all do check it, and address.
Murphy, those boxes expand forever. So you
I know.
any kind of verification you want to.
Well, I just wanted to pass that on to those for people who don't turn in that information like I do. And I see that, and then I panic. Then I'm thinking, oh, she's not going to want to do it because she got to go back and remember where she was, who was in charge. And sometimes there is a turnoff when you find out at the end of the year. If you know from the beginning to keep a record.
And that's why it's great to keep up with it on a month by month basis like you do, or if you want to do it daily like Tama does. But again, you jot it down. So for the month of January, this many hours for the month of February. So however you need to keep up with it, then we just need that level of documentation for the top volunteer for each unit. Thank you.
Thank you.
If you get over 2,000 hours, you're supposed to.
Yeah, if you have more than 2,000 hours, that's when you really have to have all that. If you just, the people that have just a few hundred hours, that's not as important. Document what you're doing. Try and put down what you were doing, whatever organization, to say art association, church, whatever. You don't necessarily have to have a person. But when you're doing 2,000 or more, you have to provide that documentation, and that's important.
Okay.
I think Ginger had her hand up first, and then we'll go to Tate.
I do. I want to ask, do you not count this time that we're on Zoom as an education volunteer?
It is giving information. I would say yes. Linda?
It's for education.
Yeah, it is for
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
So right here today, you listen to the Zoom, to listen to all the Zooms, you're going to get a lot of hours, mostly more than 10 hours you'd rack up right here.
Another facet of community service is the silent auction that is held at the convention, and everybody can get involved with that.
Yeah,
And that's part of community service.
because Affie and Wynette were involved in that. So if you were volunteering for that during the convention, you can count those hours, try to keep up with those hours. I think Tama raised her hand and then she put it down. Tama, did you want to say something?
One thing, the category for the title category, it should probably be activity instead of category.
Oh, activity. That's a good idea. Okay, does everybody agree that sounds good? Now we get you to.
Will this be posted there so we could?
Yeah, we'll post it on the website.
Okay.
Dolores, have your hand up?
Yes, I did. Good evening, everybody. Afternoon, whatever. Just listening is very interesting because I do turn in the volunteer hours. I'm from Region 7A, and I've won had the most hours, I would say, for the last 2 years. But it's because of a consistent volunteer, like I'm volunteering now, and the phone is ringing. But it's a consistent volunteer. And what I do, I write down my hours on a calendar. And then at the end, I go each month and put my hours in. But I was very pleased to hear some of the things that I volunteer in, not just here at this corporation, but I'm not even putting down as volunteer hours, like all of the meetings that I attend, the community meetings or the Edgecombe Nash Retired Teachers meetings, these educational Zooms and all. I'm realizing through this workshop, there are lots of hours that I haven't included that may be a good thing for me, and listening and being a part of this to add to the hours that I usually submit. So thank you all so much for helping me out there.
Okay,
Thank you.
so I think is there anybody else? Okay, so we'll just go on. The next thing is the quality of life. I'm hearing kind of a beep noise. Could everybody mute themselves? Because somebody must have some type of noise making a weird sound. Just everybody mute yourself. Over on the far left where it says audio, just click on audio.
Julia can mute us. Oh,
Okay, well, let Julie do it. Okay, so let's go ahead. Okay, the next committee is the quality of life, and this is kind of taking on a new life, and not to be on words, but in the last few years, it's got kind of a new purpose, and or maybe I should say additional purpose. So we've got LaVeta and Ren, our co-chairs here. So take it away and share what great work you're doing.
Thank you, Linda. And I'd like to thank all of our participants for hanging with us. I know the time is getting short if we try to keep it to an hour, so I'll try to be very concise. As this slide overviews how the organization of the committee is formed as one of the 8 standing committees under governance of the NCRSP policies, and outlines the way in which you can participate in this in terms of being appointed by the state president or your regional director. But we also like to encourage all of the presidents on the local level to appoint someone on their level to be a part of Quality of Life Committee. And I welcome them to participate in our committee meetings and committee communications so that they can share information that we're sharing with the regional chairs. Because sometimes it may not come in time for one person's meeting, but it might be just in time for another person's meeting. So with that, I'm not going to read this to you because of time, and you can read it later if you'd like, but it really just outlines how we are organized as a committee. So if we can move right along, Julia. The purposes of our committee are set out by the committee charters that's in the policy committee, policies of the organization. If you want to look at those specifically, they're in section 13. We are charged with promoting the quality, social, economic, and physical well-being for retired school personnel. So that's a very broad category, as you can imagine. So it kind of can encompass many different topics. We provide information on available services to address issues and opportunities involving the quality of life, covering health and wellness, welfare, personal and financial safety. One of the things that we actually provide out is a yearly update to the GoSeek 365, where you can qualify for gift cards through your Humana if you're covered under the Humana Medicare Advantage program. We also update the Silver Sneakers flyer, and so those are available for you to share with members in your local. We also try to send out a monthly flyer on a topic of interest, and they come in a variety of subject matters. As you can see, we cover a lot of areas, so that they are also available for you to share with your members. And I'm working now on adding QR codes to all of those so you can go straight to the source on the internet for those topics. We also promote information regarding retirement transitions. Now, this is an area where in the charter, we haven't probably done as good a job as we have in some of the other areas, but it is part of our charter, and it's something that we have considered in several different ways. One of the biggest things that we've taken on under this committee is the Wednesday workshops. If you're not familiar with them, on the second Wednesday of the month, we have been providing a workshop by Zoom on various topics that address the quality of life. And what you see before you are the topics that we have covered thus far in 2025. We started out in actually at the end of December, handling holiday stress, how to not be a bah humbug, and that came under our mental well-being. We had Mike Gavin present on NEA member benefits, which is Ren's new area of specialty. Then we went to Make the Most of Your Supplemental Benefits by Sarah Combs from Pierce Insurance Group. You may have actually caught her presentation at the state convention. We did Convention 101, and this is kind of an annual Wednesday workshop that we offer. And we had Roger Harris, our retired school personnel parliamentarian, and the new business item chair, Sherry Mosley Mulling, to present on how the convention would be run. And it helps particularly those who have never been to a convention to understand how the convention will operate. Colleen Lanier is becoming one of our returnees on the circuit, so to speak, and as legislative chair, she has presented for the last couple of years on the legislative program and how we can work at the grassroots level to support the work that she and Linda do in the General Assembly. And we do appreciate her volunteering her services there as well. This was a new one for us this year, was Walk with Ease by Nick Turkis, who was with the Arthritis Foundation, presenting a program that you can be involved in to improve your physical health, but it also helps your mental well-being as well when you get in that habit of walking and getting that physical exercise in. In the month of June, we have scheduled the Master Gardener, Amy Bridges, who is our Region 2 Director, and she and I are talking this afternoon to finalize the topic exactly that she'll be presenting next week at 10:30. But it will be related to the Master Gardener program that she's participating in. So many opportunities there to learn as a NCRSP member, and also to expand your horizons and find things to do to enjoy your retirement, as opposed to giving all that time away necessarily. So if we go to the next slide, please, Julia. I'll let Ren take over and talk about member benefits.
As a member of NCRSP, you are members of NEA, and the NEA member benefits that you have are numerous. And so Kim Lindsay is our current NEA member benefits liaison. She provides information about any number of things, including a very popular topic, insurance. And in addition to that, all of the other benefits that being a member of a national organization provide. So we have, and again, you can see very briefly on the flyer here that we have member benefits that are a result of being a part of this large association.
Yeah, you really have to just investigate, but travel, I think, is one of the biggest things. Okay, well, they've got a lot of good things to make your life better, and I said some new things. And then there's two other committees, and these committees, the chair is still appointed by the president, and these are the ones we kind of hand select the members of the committee. So Sandra was just going to tell us basically what her committee does. I don't think we have any bullets for you or anything, but there's one thing that she's working on right now, or just about to begin working on it. So Sandra, can you tell us what you're up to?
Oh, I'm always up to something, Linda.
I know. When I answer.
My committee, policy, operational policies and procedures for the whole organization, is devoted to making sure that we have the policies written correctly up to date, and in accordance with all other governing documents that we have to abide by, which includes NCAE and NEA, and that includes NEAR. Right now, I am having to begin a big job of working on rewriting all of our elections procedures because we were out of compliance. NCAE is finally doing a 5-year review, and they have decided that we need to change a lot of things. And it's also going to include changing our constitution and bylaws, and I'm a member on that committee. To be a member of one of the constitution, bylaws, and policies and procedures, you need to be a person who is adept in government procedures, ways to govern correctly, and also how to word things so that they cannot be misconstrued, twisted, and turned the wrong way. If you have those skills, give me a call. I'd love to have you on my committee, and I bet you Betsy would love to have you on hers. Thank you, Linda.
Betsy's not here unless she just popped on, but Betsy's with Constitution and bylaws, and when we pass amendments to our Constitution, they have to lay on the table for a year. So we would pass them in the fall. It would then go to the convention that would lay on the table, and the next year we would bring it up. Now, at the end of that convention on that first year, everybody was given a copy of any type of proposed amendment that we had. If you were at our convention a couple of years ago, I remember people passing the copies out at the door as people left. And then when we came back the next year, it was on the agenda. And remember, Tom Simmons was the Constitution and Bylaws chair at that time. And so he got up and he spoke. And then we had to actually vote on particular items to approve it. You don't approve every little word change that doesn't make a difference. But the key changes to the Constitution had to be approved. Like if you were changing the term from 1 term to 3 terms for the president, heaven forbid. But if that was going to be discussed, that's just not a minor change. That's a major change. The president might be dead by the 3rd term. You work her to death too much. So, and the bylaws can actually, you can change the bylaws in 60 days. They lay on the table kind of for 60 days, and then it comes back and is voted on again, and then it can be passed. So it's a little bit easier. But when you change the Constitution, it's a pretty major thing. Go ahead.
The bylaws are changed by recommendation of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee to the Executive Board. The Executive Board makes the changes of that, not the whole convention.
Right. I haven't got that far, but that's right. That's a good thing to point out. Yeah, the only thing is voted on by everybody at the convention, constitutional amendment. The bylaws are a little bit easier to change. So looks like Ginger thinks her battery's running out. Is there anybody before your battery runs out, either physical or with your computer? Does anybody have any last-minute questions for our great panelists today? I think they've done a great job. No more questions? Well, if you do, you can always go on the website, our award-winning national first place website that Julia created last year and keeps adding to. You can look under the committees, you can find the committee chair, and you can send them an email and contact them about any questions that you might have. If you have any other questions for Lena or myself, or any particular person, just hit us up. So without any more questions, thank you so much for coming, and thanks for being such a great audience. And thank you to our outstanding presenters, our hardworking committee chairs. Let's give them all applause. Oh wait, we muted so we can't hear the applause. Okay, thank you. You have a nice evening, afternoon.
All right. Bye, everybody.